Welcome to the 8 Minute Podcast, where 8 minutes is all it takes to transform your day. So, if you're ready, let's dive in and make every minute count. Today's episode is about starting, and I thought it would only make sense that the first episode would be dedicated to starting. So, when to start, how to start, and am I ready to start? I think that we have all asked ourselves those questions at some point in our lives. And as valid as these questions are, I think there is never a perfect or a right time to start. You simply have to start. Take some sort of action. Oftentimes, it's a detour. It's an exploration. A deep dive into the unknown. And the first few steps are rarely the ones that will bring us immediate success, and that's okay. It's not the point in starting, and we should take away the pressure of success in the early stages of a new project. What is important here is that taking some sort of action will impact our mood and our motivation. It will create some form of momentum for us to move forward in one direction or another. There are no perfect conditions. The perfect condition, in fact, is simply to start. From the first few steps, whether that's creating a business plan, writing the first few pages of a novel, or simply applying to a university degree, well, from the first few steps, we'll gain a little insight and develop our knowledge about a domain. And as time goes by, we can evaluate and even recalibrate our trajectory. What I think is funny is that we often start a project with a precise idea in mind, and the beauty of it actually comes from something completely different as time goes by. Have you ever started something new only to realize a few months later how unexpectedly well it turned out, and found yourself grateful that it unfolded this way instead of how you originally planned? Let that sink in for a minute. Starting something new doesn't just open doors externally, it also reshapes how we see ourselves. It is as much about internal growth as it is about external achievements. By stepping into the unknown, we discover strengths, interests, and possibilities we didn't even know existed. The first few steps may feel awkward or unproductive, but they pave the way for clarity and confidence to emerge over time. And here is something powerful to remember. Every expert, every successful entrepreneur, artist, or innovator was once a beginner. They all had a day one filled with doubts, mistakes, and questions. But what sets them apart is that they chose to move forward despite the uncertainty. So each time we start something, we're joining a universal story of progress and perseverance. There is something so incredibly beautiful about starting a journey, yet I often ask myself, but why are we so resistant to starting? I've had the idea of this podcast for months, and my friends even bought me a microphone, so I had no more excuse to start. And right now, I'm just in the process of recording the second ever episode. Whilst in my bedroom in China, under my desk to get the best sound quality, whilst holding a tiny lapel microphone. So it's possible that we are resistant to starting because it's new, because we don't believe that we are capable of changing and of starting. It can feel overwhelming. We are unsure as to whether the trade-offs and the sacrifices that we must make are worthwhile. Something that I find helpful is to tell myself that change is safe, that starting is safe, and that it's actually beneficial for me, even though I feel a little scared. But we should also take into consideration that sometimes starting is not the right option. Sometimes we already have a lot on our plate, and learning that new language or starting that new business or taking on that new degree is simply not the best option for us right now in that particular moment. Which of course doesn't mean that it will never be right. It's a question of being honest and transparent with ourselves. Asking ourselves the question, do I have the emotional and physical capacities to add this extra thing into my life? What will I have to subtract or to take away from my current life to, make space for something new? And if you feel as though you do have the emotional and physical capacities to add something extra into your life, and that you feel ready to make the trade-offs, well, then great, go for it. But if the answer is not yet, let's be patient and kind with ourselves and trust that we will know when to devote time to the new thing that we want to start. In any case, I think that we are never really ready to start. This is my second podcast episode, and I know that the podcast will evolve and change, and I hope improve. But whatever happens, it's an opportunity to live, to try something out, and to go on a new adventure. So whatever your new adventure is, embrace it, try, fail, evaluate, recalibrate, improve, share, persevere. But don't forget to start. So thank you so much for tuning in. And remember that all you need is 8 minutes. Cheers.